We are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gentlemen joining us out there. It is Sunday morning. It is the We Outside live cast. We want to welcome you as always. And today we do have Cedric Carter, 1700 scheduled. I know we're just waiting for him to tap in with us, but myself and Dooney did not want to hold you guys any longer, especially with our beautiful faces on your screens this morning. What it is, my brother? How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed, excited about the day, man. I'm thankful, grateful that I woke up, that I'm healthy, I can walk, talk, smell, you know.
Man,
Uh,
ain't that the truth?
just feeling blessed, man. Thankful, bro, this Sunday morning, bro.
There you go. And I think you hit the nail on the head, man. Just like it is a blessing every day for us to be able to come out and have the conversations with our outsiders out there, especially like we had yesterday, which we'll recap a little bit yesterday,
Ah,
as well. You said it, man. Just opening your eyes every day is a blessing in and of itself. That means that the creator is not done with you, which means to me, anyways, people take it for what it's worth because it might be a different meaning to you, but to me, it allows me to understand that the plan that has been created for me and the path that I'm here to walk until the physical being of myself is no longer here. I still got a purpose today. That's what that means to me. So
every
I
day
very
you
much
wake up,
second.
bro, God got a purpose for you, man.
Man, ain't that the
Like
truth?
keep waking you up, right? And as long as he keep waking me up, I'm gonna keep serving his purpose, man. At some point we got to show our gratitude and 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 uh, and our appreciativeness towards the one that like wake us up every morning, right? Because we don't have to wake up, right? So
Indeed. It's wild, man. I saw the other day, I saw a post from High Definition, excuse me, from the Unconventional Kings, a group of our family members who we've had on the live cast previously. So make sure y'all go to the YouTube channel and check out the conversation that we had a couple months back with Low Key the Wizard, who is, that is a bad man. That dude is bad when it comes to what he can do with some instruments and his beat producing. And of course, High Definition, salute to the brother there, a lyrical genius, man. But go peep that. But what I saw from him, kind of since we're on that, this topic that we're talking about right now, he said, yo, one day you're either not going to wake up or you're not going to sleep. So, or go to sleep. So live. If that's not some of
mhm.
the realest shit I've ever heard in my life, bro. So salute to High Definition sending that out through his Instagram the other day, because that really hit me, man. Speaking of living, bro, putting the guns down, right? We had a dope conversation. It was your first official conversation on the live cast yesterday. We of course had Miss Alicia Wesley, we had Miss Portland Bridges, and talking about what we talk about every Saturday morning, which is saving lives and making sure that we're being aware of mental health. So let's recap real quick, bro. And I'm gonna start by asking you, um, first time in the co-host chair, bro. You've been on the other side as a special guest a couple times with us on the outside, but what was the feeling that you were able to get from the beautiful conversation, the real conversation, the open conversation that we had yesterday on those two specific topics with respect to addressing gun violence and addressing mental health awareness? What was that like from your side as a co-host yesterday?
um, this is the conversation I'm used to having, right? But having it on this platform and having these sisters speak to the world, uh, and being able to converse about something that's plagued our people for centuries, bro, was amazing, bro. It was powerful. I call that heart food. That's like soul and heart food, something that like that's needed, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a beautiful moment, man. Beautiful sisters and healed from healed from the pain to become survivors, right? Instead of victims, taking their power back. That's what it's all about. So to see it in its true form, um, felt good, man. Yeah, it felt good. I know what's possible for our people, right? because our community need healing, and that's what we talked about.
Hmm.
And they model what healing looks like. They model it for the people because they can be angry, they can be bitter, vindictive, a whole bunch of other stuff, right? But they were full of love and compassion and empathy. Still powerful, bro.
It is. It's
They
those
didn't
are.
relinquish their power, bro, because of trauma.
Hmm.
They faced it, dealt with it, and turned their pain into power, into purpose. How could I not enjoy that, bro? Like
Right.
like the first podcast, right?
And you're right, bro. And it's people like that in the world that are the epitome of shining their light bright, right? Because we know, there's something called the yin and the yang. There's the good and the bad, in the world, and those are two very intelligent, very strong women who shared their stories yesterday, who shared their experiences yesterday. And that's really the epitome of what this platform is really about, right? Shining the light. You have past experiences. I have past experiences that, in some cases, almost on a day-to-day basis, that we're still kind of healing ourselves from, or seeking some kind of remorse for, or worthiness of, right? And I think you hit that nail on the head yesterday when you apologized, um, for your past transgressions. But the beautiful thing is, I think it's important to realize, people, if you got things like that as well, that you feel that you need to apologize for. You said a very important word yesterday that not a lot of people can really utter out of their mouth, and that's accountability, man. And being accountable for your past actions, you have to come to grips with that first before you can even start to think of apologizing. Because if you do not know what you're apologizing for, then why are you even opening your mouth?
Mhm.
Right? Because that's part of the healing process for those outside of your overall self, but that's also part of the healing process, as I'm sure that you can agree
Mhm.
to, for you, as an individual, whether it's you or me or anybody else in this world that is seeking some kind of worthiness from that accountability and that responsibility as well too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that word is a real powerful word. Accountability means taking a moral inventory, right, of self, and taking ownership of whatever it is about your character defects or your shortcomings, right? Um, and owning that. And after the accountability comes making amends, right? Whether living or direct, you know, living a life of amends, doing something in your community, not helping directly the person you hurt, but trying to give back to that community to heal. If you can't give back directly to the person that you harmed, right? Um, it's about repairing, bro. About repairing the harm that you caused, bro. Uh, and understanding its effect. And so you have to be honest with self, and that's hard. That's hard for people to do because it hurt, right?
Yes.
Go back to those, shame, guilt, you know, and those things, bro, can make a person be in denial and not want to
Mm.
feel that shit. So they stay away from it and just keep hurting people.
Man, and it's crazy, bro, because so many people out there, in at least my experiences, people could say, do, think whatever they want, to me or about me, or think they know something and want to say something, and that doesn't hurt as much, again, in my experiences, as I was kind of rewiring my brain, through past things that I either had to take accountability for, whether that be with myself or somebody else or a group of somebody else's. um, that shit could hurt more when you have to be accountable with yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, we live with ourselves day in, day out, right? The good old saying is, you come into this world alone, you're going to leave alone. But at the end of the day, all the people that you do encounter in your lifetime as well, you're encountering them. You're still walking this path by yourself. So that was very much a challenge for me in the past, because it brings up a level of, and we've said this word to each other before as well, vulnerability, right? And a lot of people get scared of that word as well, because in order to be vulnerable, you have to be real with yourself, and that's part of that accountability aspect of things as well, and that could be very challenging, um for people. And that was certainly my experience when, I quit drinking, 4 years ago. It was like, all right, cool, I stopped drinking. But that, for me and the people that it had affected in my experiences in the past, most importantly, my family, um, in the beginning, was very tough for me. It was very tough for me because I had to look at myself internally in a way that I had not looked at before. And like you said, that opened me up to shame, to guilt, to transgressions in the past that I had never looked at from that angle. I made the okays in the past, for what I had done, because it was more of a defense mechanism, which I didn't realize at the time with the way that I had been conditioned and programmed to think.
You start justifying.
Yes, yes, bro. But with that power of taking myself and being open and vulnerable with myself, um, it not only helped the healing process, but as you talked about yesterday, it starts to give you your power back. And you kind of talked about that this morning a little bit as well. And being able to take that power back, the level up process in life, whatever that looks like for you as an individual. Speaking for myself, vulnerability is a very, very powerful thing if you allow it to be. Is that something that you agree with, and anything that you want to share from your experiences of being vulnerable with yourself, in
Well,
the past? How's that helped you, gain some power back for yourself?
um, introspective, what they call it, right? A delving into self, deep into self, uh, things only that you and God know,
Mm.
right? Um, for me, I had to, being in prison for 30 years and having a life sentence, right? I had to appear before the Board of Parole hearings. We're separate from those that don't have a life sentence. They don't have to prove their growth and their change and understanding of self and their and the effects they had on the community. We have to demonstrate that to the Board of Parole hearings, which are usually made of 80 some% law enforcement, right? This is the people that spent their careers locking us up. We have to go to, right, to regain our freedom. Imagine that. It, 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 it makes you, in order to regain your freedom, it makes you understand yourself. It's a lot of self-reflecting, right? In order for you to get home, you must be able to tell them fully about who you were, who you are, and who you're gonna be once you're free. No one has to go through that. So they wonder why a lot of us that had life sentences out, uh, doing things in our community, is because for some of us, remember I told you, for some of us it was prison, and for
Hmm.
some of us it was a monastery of higher learning of self first, God, and then others. And so doing that allowed me to help other people, uh, take back their power, bro. Because I had to understand, okay, what got me here? What got me to this point to where I have allowing somebody to have me locked up? I had to go back and search in the self, and it hurt like hell, right? Because I had to accept the fact that I was angry and I was hurting people because of that anger, bro.
Yep.
My father not being in my life, not having a male figure in my life made me step up to be a man as a boy because I felt I had to. And so anybody did anything, anybody I love, I make sure that I justified it and sought justice for that. And whatever that looks like on whatever that level that was. It could be, we could fight. If you want to shoot, we could do that too. And I had to go and say, okay, what made me do that? What gave me the right to say, just because he did this, I can do this to him? Well, he should have never hit her. He shouldn't have did that to my sister. He shouldn't have did that to the homie. He shouldn't have did that to the homie's little brother. Right? That's justifying. I made it okay for me to commit violent acts against people in my community. So once I understood that, why that anger towards my father, not having him, that anger towards whoever I had that anger for in the community, I had to just let it go. I had to forgive, like truly forgive, which means I can't think about it tomorrow. It can't bother me in 2 days. That means I forgive and I no longer think about it. That's what forgiveness was. So that's where I got my power back. Once I learned why I got there, dealt with that issue, forgave those people, forgave myself for putting myself where I put myself. That's where I regained my power. And I regained my power because I no longer respond the same way that I used to respond because of being healed. I don't have the motivation, the inspiration, the fire that used to fuel me. I don't have it. Once you forgive, it that's it, it all melts away, bro.
And I think the beauty in what you're talking about there, honestly, is realizing that you have a lot more control over things than you think you do as a person, but also understanding things that you think happened for a reason or didn't happen for a reason. Um, those are out of your control,
Mm,
right? Those are out of your control, and I go by saying, control what control what you can. Everything else is for the birds. Like, because
mhm,
it's true. Like, if you don't have any true power over that, or I mean, again, if we're talking, talking in the sense of people, there's 8.2 billion people in the world. All right, you can't control everybody. You're not here to meant to control everybody. You have to control what you can control, because that's your power. That's your path. You're not here to walk anybody else's path but yourselves. Um, at the end of the day, and I think the sooner that somebody realizes that as an individual, um, and this is to any aspect of life, it's not necessarily geared specifically towards having to apologize for something. I'm also even just talking about the control of entrepreneurship, or a
mhm,
scenario that you put yourself in financially, or man, you don't like your job, fucking quit it. Quit it.
mhm,
You might have, you might not be necessarily in a scenario where you can just up and quit a job, but you do have the control to be like, okay, I don't like my job. Well, what the fuck do? You have a choice now. You could continue to go clock into that job day in, day out, or whatever your schedule is, or you can do something about it. Now,
mhm,
you're in some cases you're going to have to continue to work that job that you do not like, if it's financially necessary for your overall well-being and how you're living your life. We're at a bare basic, keeping food on the table and a roof over your head, the bare basics of life that we need as human beings.
mhm,
But you also have to realize, just because you don't like that job does not mean that you have to stay there. You're not forced to be there unless you're forcing yourself to be there, or in any other situation as well. So you know what you can do? You can control hopping on a computer, hop on the phone, which 90 plus thousand% of people in this world have a phone these days. Go pop on your Indeeds, go to a specific company website, because you have to keep on taking chances to get yourself out of that job that you're not really feeling, for whatever the reason might be. If that's not serving, kind of like you were talking about earlier, that heart that you have within you, well, go do something that makes you happy. Because the good old saying goes, if you're doing something that you love, You'll never work a day in your life. And that's the
Right.
difference between a job and having a passion for something that it is, that you do. So I'm just sharing with y'all my experiences because 7 years ago I decided not I quit my job. First time ever. I've been working since 11 years old at that time. I had never, whether it be a big corporation or a small mom and pop type of deal, I had never left a job without giving proper notice. And the scenario that I was in bad, was so bad. Like I was literally living day to day off of cigarettes, alcohol, coffee, and cream of wheat and some bacon in the morning. That was literally my life for months. And then finally something hit me on a Sunday. I was like, fuck this, man. Like, this is not healthy for me. I literally felt myself going crazy. Like, literally, I knew I was going crazy, bro. And once I realized that, I said, that's it. I'm done. I'm not going to put myself in that scenario anymore. And luckily, at the time, I was financially, stable enough just to say, I'm not going to look for another job before I quit, and nor am I even going to give a notice. It was that bad that for the first time in 30 years that I've been working, that I left the job without giving a proper notice, because I'm not that guy. But I am the guy that's going to take my power back. I am that guy that's not going to continue to get walked over and treated like I was in that scenario. And I said, fuck it, I'm done. And I'm out, because that was my control. That was my choice to make. And a lot of people don't necessarily realize, because we're so conditioned in this world to think that you don't have choice. The system is built in a way um, where it's almost designed for the majority of people to pound into your cerebral and your subconscious that you don't have a choice. You have to go do this, because if you don't, you're going to lose your car. You're going to lose your house. You're not going to have food on the table. But we do have choices day in and day out. We make a lot of them every single day. What are your thoughts
I
on something
love
like
that
that?
song by I love that song by E40, bro. I don't think people really listening to what he's saying in that song, but he's telling you everybody got choices. Everything you do is a choice. Everything you do is a choice. You have to apply that, right? And understand that in a way that reflect healthy choices. That is the duty, right?
Yep.
Um, and choice for some people, bro, like for me, being in prison, right? Is and being locked away from the world takes away a lot of your choices. You don't get to choose what foods you're going to eat that day. You're going to have to eat the food that they make, right? You don't choose to, you know, lock up in that cell, lock you up when they want to lock you up. There's so many different things, bro. You may not want to change, but if you don't, you're not getting out of prison. You may not want to look into those things that hurt, but you have to. You're forced to if you want to go home, right? That's a choice. You can choose not to. And my brothers are still sitting there that haven't did the work. Or you can choose to do the work and be sitting here where a lot of majority, at least 80% of my brothers that I met and sisters inside is home because they made that choice, right? Uh, to work on, to delve in yourself and to work on self, you know. But again, we say we take God out of everything, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because some choices, right? God give us the free will to make choices, right? But God have a lot of things to do. We may want something that God may not want for us. So we can make that choice and we not get the desired effect, what we thought we were going to get or get what we thought we wanted, right? Uh, God has a lot to do with that too, bro.
Nah, you're right. And I want to touch on that real quick as well, because, when people say that word, people get afraid. God, right? God. And whether you choose to believe that higher power as a God or the creator or the universe,
Something higher than self.
Man, that's what it
I don't
is,
care
right?
what it is.
And you can give it whatever name you want, but I think when you can succumb to the reality that there is a higher power that has created us and everything that is around us in this world, it's not humans, it's a higher power that is beyond this world, whatever that is. And nobody really knows. Nobody, we can speculate all we want, and that's not what we're here to do. We're just here like we are every time that we pop outside. And Cedric Carter hit me up. He's going to be popping in with us here in a hot minute. So very much looking exactly. Music moves me. Bless up, Alicia. She said in the comments, choose the source instead of the resource. Choose your own resource, whatever. Because again, it's your path. So
Mm-hmm.
that higher power can be whatever it is that you want it to be, because it's your world that you're living in at the end of the day.
Yes.
You're just interacting with other people's world every day that
Mm-hmm.
you walk your path, right? So let's not get it twisted. No different than like some people get it twisted when we talk about the put the guns down movement. We are not against guns, people. We're all for the
Right.
Second Amendment right. I own a firearm, but at the same time I understand the safety and impact that if I choose to, and let me be clear, I don't choose to carry my peace with me when I walk outside my home. I don't, like, unless I'm going somewhere where I'm like, hey man, and again, it's a choice, right? Unless I know I'm going somewhere where I might have to be in a protective type of um thought process at
Mode.
that point. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Exactly. No, that's not what it's for. I have a right to do that, so I'm going to do that. Just like I have a right to protect my family. That if something or somebody comes to my door that is going to go against me protecting my family, well, I'm going to stand up, and I never want to have to use that. I never want to have to touch that. I really don't. But at the same time, I realize that we do live in a crazy ass world, where unfortunately, things out of my control, and that's not even in comparison to somebody that I know or have anything with. Now, would I also don't have anything with anybody? Let's be clear about that, because I choose not to have anything with anybody, because I want peace in my world and I want nothing but peace. I've had a lot of darkness in my life in the past for a very long time, and I choose not to have that in my life. No different than I said, I don't carry my peace when I leave outside this house unless I'm going to the shooting range or camping, where there might be wild animals like bears and shit like that. You know what I mean? Because that's a different story. But I choose
I
not to
think
put myself in environments outside where I'm going to maybe have to need that, other than those two things, right?
right. I just use like I choose not to carry a gun because if I carry one, I use it. From carrying a gun, I'm ready to use it, which means I don't carry a gun for nothing. The board, when I went to board of parole hearings, right? They asked me, they say, "Hey, do you carry guns all the time?" I was like, "No." They said, "But we see here you got a lot of gun cases." I said, "Yeah." I said, "But I don't carry guns." They say, "Why?" I said, "Well, I just go get a gun and use it when I need it. That's what you see. I wasn't carrying no gun. I went and got it and used it because I felt I had to do it. Now, as an adult, and been through the experiences I've been through, my greatest gun is my mind, bro. The greatest disarmament I've ever done in my life was through the heart, bro. But some people, like we said, we got back to the mental ill issue thing, right? Back to the
Mm-hmm.
pain thing, where they can't see the heart and the love, and they just see hurt. So they blind. They don't see anything. They're blind, and so they just shoot, right? But for the most part, man, it's a choice. You know what I mean? We need that in this day and age, but it's not something I feel that I have to be walking around because I don't carry that energy. It's the energy that you carry too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another energy when you're carrying again, right? It's different energies, man. You know, I just choose not to carry that energy around.
Because it's a
But that's the
choice. There you go. And we have that opportunity. I mean, uh, man, I think back, to one of the first conversations that you and I ever really had, and you kind of mentioned it briefly already today, the mindset being in the monastery, where you spent 31 years. I look at people such as yourself. I look at people such as Prentice Banks, who's a part of this We Outside and Put the Guns Down family. I look at people like Monster Yo, who's a part of this family. Jay Burton, who's a part of this family and has been on our show before. The smiles that yourself and the mindset that yourself, Prentice, Jay, Monster Yo, and other people that I've not had the pleasure or privilege of meeting yet, similar to them, because unfortunately there's a lot of those individuals out there. For somebody like Prentice, who was wrongly accused and has been spent 34 years in prison, to some people's definition, but a monastery in him. I got to tell you, bro, like I have never, and I'm saying this truly, I have never seen, felt, or experienced love and a light and beautiful energy as I have from you people and individuals in general who have been in that setting that people would view as imprisonment, but y'all experience it as something completely different. Y'all flip the script on it, right? And that's in comparison to people who have never even been close to knowing what that feeling is that you all have experienced, especially in scenarios like I'll use Prentice as an example. Prentice was long and short, and I'm not saying anything that he has not said himself. He said on this live cast, go check his YouTube, or excuse me, go check our We Outside live cast YouTube. We had a beautiful conversation with Prentice Banks about 4 weeks ago, and he was one of 4 individuals that ended up getting arrested. He was 18 years old, right? And he was getting picked up for a party on a Friday night. No priors, no run-ins with the law ever in his life. He gets picked up on a Friday night by what are supposed to be 3 of his friends, right? 3 of his homies, right? Pick him up for a party. Now, mind you, at the time, Prentice did not know that he was getting into a car that was attached to a robbery, because those 3 homies had just committed a robbery that ended up in an unaliving of that individual that they robbed. And the
We got
crazy thing,
80 accessory.
yeah. And the crazy thing, check this out, bro. Those 3 individuals ended up spending 2.5 years, about 5 or 6 years, and 13 years. Those are the people that were literally involved with it. Tell me why Prentice Banks is still sitting imprisoned, to some people's definition, 34 years later. That's wild.
Like for me and for him, when they sitting in judgment of your life, you have to take accountability. You have to show remorse towards your victims. Man, I had 8 board hearings myself. So that's corrected record. So it's like 29 years, 9 months, like 30 years, damn near, right? That I did. But you have to, like I said, it's nothing, only us that have those life sentences are subjected to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to go to that board and demonstrate something that no one else in this world has to demonstrate. You have to make people feel that you will not go home and commit another crime again. You have to convince DAs and police officers, ex-law enforcement, well, they got your file sitting in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to go explain to these people and what they say that you don't have to commit to a crime. You don't have to commit to your crime to go home. But you have to show remorse towards your victims. Well, how can I be remorseful towards somebody that I haven't did anything to?
Or let alone even met ever.
So they want you to go and say I did something. My crime, personally, I'll be 199 years old. I'll die in this prison before I come in here and tell you I committed a crime that I didn't commit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a principle that I stand on. And you're not going to make me admit to anything that I didn't do. And that's why the law says you don't have to. But they'll say, they won't ask you. If they ask, they may not ask you direct, did you commit the crime? They ask you about remorse. And you can only have remorse for something you've done personally. So they'll just say he has no remorse towards the victim. He's not being accountable. I was there, but I have larceny in my heart, or did I hurt anyone? And did any of that happen? Did I play a role in any part of anyone getting hurt? No. But those of us, it's easier if I committed the crime personally to go say, hey man, look, I apologize, man. I'm sorry I did that. And show remorse versus myself or that brother, they ain't did nothing. So we have to spend time fighting to prove that we're not guilty. Or you can go in there and I don't know what happened if someone ever did it, went in there and just like, oh yeah, I did it and didn't do it, how they look at them or how they view them, because that wasn't my story.
Mm-hmm.
I had 8 board hearings for doing nothing to nobody. I had 8 board hearings about the actual person that committed the acts during the crime. They want me to talk about that person and what they were thinking. I can't tell you what another man was thinking. I can tell you what the hell I was thinking during that time.
Yep. No, I'm
But
with you.
they lock you up and make you responsible for that other individual.
It's wild.
And that's why he's still there, because how are we going to be responsible for someone else did and take accountability for what someone else did?
No,
That's
I'm with you
why
there.
in my case we changed the law.
Yep. And I'm gonna leave it. We're gonna bring Cedric Carter
Yes,
1700,
sir.
our guest for the day. He popped in, but before we give the introduction and bring him in here, I want you people to think about this. We like to make you think on this platform because that's what it's about. It's about growing. It's about healing. It's about a lot of different things. And I want you to think about this, right? You know, from what we were talking about today, um, when you are accused of something, right? You get put in front of what? A jury of your peers, right? But if y'all aren't familiar, exactly. That's what they tell you, right? But what's
My
crazy,
peers look like me.
exactly. What's even crazy, even if all things were equal in this broken system that we are a part of, think about this. They will put you in front of your so-called peers as your jury, right? But then when
Mhm.
it's time for you to go through that parole process, who do they put you in front of? They don't put you in front of your so-called peers. They put you in front of people who put you there to begin with. So,
The fox garden in hen house.
man, right? So think about that, people. We're gonna leave that with you. We're about to bring in our special guest for the day. We're gonna give him an introduction, and then, as always, we're gonna let him introduce himself. There he is. What's good, my brother? Can you hear us? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Blessings, bro. Blessings. Thank you for being with us here today. You got myself. You got the brother Dooney, aka John Wyndham, with us as well. Dooney, you
Salute,
got
gang.
Cedric Carter, 1700, sitting there right where with us. And ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you being with us. It is the We Outside live cast. We got our special guest here for the day, Cedric Carter, 1700. Man, he's a part of the family. He's been a part of the family, and we are blessed and privileged to have you on the platform officially with us today. We've been looking forward to this for a minute. You know, for anybody that's opening the door with us for the first time, or even if it's not the first time, let me just give y'all a reminder of who we are and what we are about. And individuals like Cedric Carter 1700, we bring people on to be a part of this live cast because we are real, we are visionaries, we have experienced things in life that we want to be able to share through whatever movement that we are here to do and how we've been healing through that. And I, like Cedric Carter 1700, chooses to utilize his experiences in the past and overcome experience that he has had and do it through music, through his art, and tell things his way. He is a creative. He is an artist. And I want to say one thing real quick before we get into that and let you introduce yourself in your own words, my brother. There are rappers and there are hip hop artists. So let me clear something up for people. All right. If y'all don't know, Cedric Carter 1700 is not a rapper. Cedric Carter 1700 is a hip hop artist who happens to rap. And if you don't know what I mean by that, there are rules to this culture. There are rules to this lifestyle called hip hop. And Cedric Carter 1700 is on this platform with us today to share his story because Cedric Carter 1700 is hip hop. So, my brother, welcome to the show. We're again our privilege and honor to have you here. I'm gonna pass the mic over to you and let you take the opportunity to let the people know outside with us today who you are in your own words. And then we're just gonna have an authentic, unscripted conversation as we always do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hello, world. What's the deal? I be Cedric Carter 1700. Skrilla Gorillas West for motherfucking life. Tripping and I'm stepping on shit respectfully right now.
That's what it is. That's what it is. I want to jump right into the music side of things. You've been at this for a minute. You have very much been at this in a minute. But a couple years ago, you really took a different pivot to your craft. Tell me what it was. Let's just start right there. Tell me what it was that made you level up from that perspective of taking control and making the choice. Dooney and I were talking about choices before you hopped on. So let's just start right there. What was it that was that pivot or that choice for you where you're like, yo, it's level up time for me to take this craft and my pen and my mind to a different place than I've had it before?
To be real, first off, I'm gonna start with saying free my uncle, Monster Yo.
Yes, sir.
Um, to be real, it was my uncle. It was Monster Yo. You know, it was Monster Yo that made me really, really take this to the next level. For real. It was Monster Yo that really, made me take it to the next level and just, stop wasting my time. You feel me? Because at first I was just out here in the streets just wasting my time, wasn't even taking the music serious. You feel me? So at the end of the day, once my uncle Monster Yo, talked to me, chopped it up with me, got in my ear, broke everything down to me, I was just like, man, fuck it, I'm gonna take this shit to the next level, and that's what I did. I prospered and just took off.
Wow.
I can. I it's really refreshing to hear that, honestly, because I've had those types of conversations with Monster Yo as well. So
Mhm.
yes, I very support that. Free the brother. Come on now.
Oh
He's coming
yeah,
home soon. I talked to him
yeah,
on
he be
Monday.
on real soon.
I talked to him on Monday for a good hour or so. So he's good. He's in good spirits. He sends all his love to everybody out here. Um, Dooney, what are your thoughts? I mean, I kind of already know your thoughts, but when you talk about being able, and I ask you specifically, bro, because you are that conduit to individuals such as Monster Yo is and has been to Cedric Carter 1700. When you hear things like that and people like yourself and Monster Yo, what kind of power do you get from that? Not because I know you're not looking for anything from that other than just giving an opportunity for people to help see their own full potential, right? But what does that mean to you? What does it make you feel when you hear stuff like that?
Proud, bro. Um, they try to paint a picture um of those that they incarcerate and make society think that we're bad people. And it's not strange to me. That's why I smiled when he said where he got his knowledge and wisdom from. There's a lot of knowledge and wisdom behind them walls, and it's no secret who they keep there. It's not about your crime. It's about they learn about that individual's mind, bro. You're a threat, bro. If you can change your community positively, you are a threat, bro.
Uh,
How many young brothers is he gonna touch like he touched his nephew? Probably hundreds. Why would they want that? They want us to shut up, be silent, and allow that young brother not to do music in the free world, but go beat on lockers and doors and beds and tables in prison
uh,
while they serve their purpose on the concentration camp.
Mhm.
So when he said where, you know, about his uncle, man, that I couldn't do nothing but smile inside because we have great leaders that's behind them walls, bro, that need to be free. Prison is for some people,
Mm,
but not for all, bro. Criminally minded is different than a sound mind, and they want to keep sound minds incarcerated, bro. So heads up to you for listening, bro, and for taking and heeding that advice, man. Because that's what
yeah,
we out here to do, bro. Make each other better.
yeah.
So true. So true. With that said, Cedric, as far as your music, how would you describe your music? Presently as it is, or just even if you want to talk about kind of like where you started, to that moment when you started really having those conversations with Monster Yo, and what it's really meant for you from a music standpoint, in these last couple of years, as far as that trajectory that it had put you on.
How I describe my music, I mean, it's different. I'm each song, each song is different. That's what I tell people. Each song is different. So that's how I came up with the Jupiter song. Um, that's how I came up with my Boss Up song. That's how I came up with the Move Smart song. That's how I came up with the Closer to My Dreams remix, the Message, because everything that goes on in life, like I tell people, what goes on in life, what I go through in life, what I see in life, what I feel, what I'm saying, on the inside of my soul, that's what I rap about, and that's what I talk about. So that's what make me different from everybody else, because I mean, we all can rap about, bitch this, or what I'm saying, female shaking her ass, or whatever the case may be, but I don't want to rap about that. I don't want to rap about that. I don't want to sound like everybody else. I want to be me and always be different. That's why I put in my songs now, like, I don't need no auto tune because I have a lot to say. I need the people to really hear me. And when they talk to me in public, they're gonna hear that same person that's on that music. Because auto tune change you. It
Hmm.
change your voice and everything. So at the end of the day, it's like, I don't want no auto tune. Tupac didn't have auto tune. I don't want auto tune. I need the people to really, what I'm saying, hear me and listen to what I got to say. That's what make me different, and that's what make every song and all my music different from others.
Mm.
And it's things like that that make you stand out, right? And I
Mhm.
know, from the conversations that I've had with Monster, that dude has changed me. And I've already had been on a path of elevation. I try to elevate every single day. I try to learn something new. I try to learn about something or somebody every day, because the more knowledge that we can take in, especially from positive people such as yourself, such as my brother Dooney, such as my brother Monster Yo, that's only going to make us that much stronger. And being the conduit, especially when we talk about the put the guns down movement that we are a part of, the only thing that we can do and the things that we can't control is to take the knowledge, the beautiful knowledge that is out there in the world, the pure knowledge that is out there in the world, and the light that is out there in the world, and try to shine it to the next generation, because we are at a path in life now where we're the elders, right? We got to be here for the young kings and queens here in the world. We got to be the conduit in a world that's already fucked up, and fucked up by things that we cannot control. So I love how you put that there, bro, because you could, and anybody can go out there and just follow the trends, right? Oh, what's selling right now? Well, that's going to sell. So that's the difference again, between, as I said in the beginning, there's hip hop artists who rap and there's rappers. Those are two different things, two completely different things, because the message is different, because you so clearly stated it's about the elevation. It's about the knowledge that I have from my experience. It's about being the conduit, to whether it's the kids and community as a whole in your neighborhood, that you are a part of, or even people outside of that. You are not doing it for anything other than the passion. Yes, you need that sustainability as an artist, but I would venture to say, even if you weren't making any money off of the craft that is hip hop and what you're out here doing day in and day out, I have a very strong belief that you would be doing this regardless. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that's what it's about. So I want to ask kind of the other side of the coin, because we talked about and asked you about, you know, how has that those conversations from a couple years back, and every conversation that you've of course had with Monster Yo since and will continue to have, how that helped elevate your music. Now, if you can share with us how it changed you as the individual that is Cedric Carter.
Um, it changed. It changed me a lot. You know, as a individual, it changed me a lot. It helped me, like, you know, it helped me see things different. It helped me see things different, and it helped me see music different. You know, for the ones that don't know, Monster Yo is smarter than smart, and that's what people need to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for real, when Monster Yo talk, you know, that's all knowledge. When Monster Yo talk, all you know, the thing you supposed to do is just sit and listen, because that's all knowledge that he's giving you. You know, like I tell people, you know, Monster Yo, to be real, Monster Yo give free game.
Hmm.
A lot of people don't realize it, you know, and know it. And they need to, you know, they need to, whatever he say, they need to take notes, because, like I say, Monster Yo is smarter than smart. And when Monster Yo, every time he talk to me, it's like it's a game changer. No lie, it's a game changer every time, you know, he talk to me.
And that's so true. And for people that are not familiar, and I was talking to my nephew. My nephew's out visiting us here for the summer from Connecticut. And you know, I've been, you know, I always cherish that opportunity, you know, whether they're my direct family or not, because I live by saying, blood makes you related, loyalty is family. That's family
Mhm.
to me, right? But when I especially have the opportunity to literally have my family here with me, it's a beautiful thing. And you know, I've been catching them up on what we've been doing with the podcast and the live cast and the Put the Guns Down movement. And you know, for the and I shared Monster Yo's story with him this morning before we popped on the show. For those of you that are not familiar with Monster Yo, go follow him at Monster Yo on Instagram. This is an individual. Now, mind you, he's been spending 31 years at this point in time. He is coming home soon in the monastery, because again, he very similar to how Dooney explained earlier in this conversation. Dooney wasn't in prison. Dooney was in a monastery for 31 years, because it's all about mindset. If you want to talk about mindset, Monster Yo was somebody who his first 17 years was spent in solitary confinement. All right. The 14 years since, this individual has written or been a part of writing and publishing 16 books. He has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. He is the CEO of multiple companies. He is a hip hop artist who happens to rap himself. He's done tracks with Cocaine. He's done tracks with Eminem, Ice Cube. Like I'm going to stop because I could just keep on going on. But the point of sharing that is exactly what you just said, bro. This is a beautiful human being. And I'll end it on this, and I want to get both your perspectives on the ability to do the things that Monster Yo or anybody in general has done, because I left it with my nephew. If he as an individual can be in a place such as he is in, um, and do what he's done, for anybody that has sat here, never been even close to experiencing not having full control from what Dooney was talking about earlier, not knowing what you're going to eat that day, you're just going to be forced to eat, when you're going to go to, you know, not go to bed per se, but when you can and can't come out of those confined walls. If somebody like that in that scenario can do the things that he has done, what are you doing with your life? What choices are you making with your life? Because man, that's powerful when I hear shit like that, right? So what does that mean to you, Dooney? Like, what does that mean to you? And then you know, Cedric, of course, I'm gonna, you know, get your thoughts specifically on that as well. You know, from everything that you know about Unc, I definitely want to get your thoughts. But you know, Dooney, let him hear it, bro.
I have to say this, like people like praised Mandela when he did that 27 years and got out.
Hmm.
The United States got thousands of Mandelas. Thousands of Mandelas, bro. That's coming out them stoops and that's up in them stoops, bro. That's power, bro. And it's the reason why they designed that place, bro. But God cracked all doors, bro. God created his soldiers, bro. There's not one day I cried about doing that 29, 30 years, man. It's not one day, bro. Because God was building me for his purpose and still using me from there. It's just a building that they lock us up in and they won't let us out of, bro. They can lock down a college like that and not let us out. They can lock down schools, all the institutions, they can lock them all, put locks on them, right? And keep us in them or keep us out of them, bro. It's the mind, bro. Prison is of the mind, bro. And you can't imprison someone that knows they're free. And that's a monster, no, bro. They have his physical, but they don't have his mental and and his heart and his dreams and his passion. All that's free, bro. That's why in the fuck he's doing what he's doing.
Yep,
He's free.
true.
We just gotta help him get his body out here where everything else has been, bro, for years, bro.
So
That's
what are your thoughts
power.
on that? What are your thoughts on that, Cedric?
To be real, Dooney just answered everything for me right there. And you know, he said what he just said, he said it perfectly. And that's
Mm.
no lie. You know, Master Yo, I'm 39 now. You know, Master Yo went, you know, he 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 got incarcerated. I'm gonna say he got incarcerated when I was 9 years old.
Wow.
I'm 39 now. My oldest son is 22. So, you know, Master Yo got incarcerated when I was 9 years old. And for a person to be down and stay down that long, you gotta be mind strong.
Yes, sir.
As long as you mind strong, and I tell a lot of people this, as long as you mind strong, you can make it through any situation in life. And that's facts. Because everything starts here. Like I tell people, this is you know how a car or whatever it is need a battery to move in motion to go, no matter if it's a
Mm-hmm.
gas car or electric car.
Mm-hmm.
That's what our brains are. That's what our
Mm-hmm.
minds are. It's the battery to our soul. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I tell a lot of people. For a person to stay down 30 years, some people some people would have folded and crashed out and really gave up for real.
Do jump off the
Mm.
tier, cut their throat,
Yes, yes.
OD.
And like I tell people, for a person like Monster Yo, it's here. It's here for real. And that's no lie. It's all about the mind. Long as you mind strong, you can make it through any situation in life, no matter what the situation is that they try to throw at you, that they try to hit you with, or whatever. And that's facts.
No,
Mm-hmm.
you're absolutely
And like
right
I say, I
because
like and like I said, I like what like I said, I like what Dooney said because at the end of the day, he said it perfectly and he answered it for me right there. Everything that he said.
The sad part is there's more people in prison in the free world than it is locked up behind the walls, man. Because they
Yep,
don't understand how to free themselves, bro.
yep,
now you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I was one of those people. I mean, being an alcoholic for so long until I stopped, you know, I decided to change my mindset and take myself out of prison because that was my prison. Liquor was my prison. Back in the day in my 20s, pills, popping pills, man, like fucking M&Ms, bro, like straight up. Because
yep,
I did not have the power of the mind that I needed nor that I have today. So I was trying to either heal, which I wasn't healing. I was making the scenario fucking worse, like worse. Because I didn't know how to deal with my traumas, right? I didn't know how to power through the things that I did not understand until later on in life. And I think, we go through things in life and experiences in life that sometimes I say this all the time, that we may not understand why we experience those things until later on in life, when we are ready to receive either that understanding or that true blessing from the universe that they were giving us back in the day. And I think that comes with it as well, coming back to choice, coming back to control. And what I necessarily want to go through those experiences again, some of them no, because there was some bad shit that came out of it, but I look at it from this perspective. If I have to go through all those things again to get to the point where I am in life, to have the strength that I have now in life, and the people in the family that surrounds me, like y'all and all the family members out here on the We Outside platform, would I do it again? Yeah, I would, because there's a reason for it. There's a reason you experienced doing what you did. There's a reason that Monster Yo experienced what he's been experiencing for the last 31 years. Because if he hadn't, would he have been able to touch all of the people that he has in a way that he has over these last number of years? And speaking specifically to you, Cedric. I mean, so I think that's another way to think about it, because yes, I've never necessarily been confined to physical walls, but man, there was a long period of my life where I was constricted and I was confined because I didn't have the true power of my mind functioning as it needed to, and as it is today. You know what I mean? Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
No, I mean it is. It's fair to say, because at the end of the day is we really don't realize, what we really put ourselves through or go through until we get older. Like I tell people, it's because of growth. It's because of growth. So that's why we don't realize or really understand life, or the situations or whatever the case may be, until we get older.
Right.
Because as we grow, our minds grow. So that's why
Goes right.
we really don't understand until we get older, and really realize the situations, what I'm saying, what we going through in life or whatever the case may be. That's why I say, it's all about the mind. It's all about the mind. You have to be mind strong. And once you mind strong, you can get through situations, and then you'll think back on what you did. Like you say, you pop pills like M&Ms or whatever the case may be, is because you was at that stage to where you wasn't using this.
Mhm.
And once you start using this, that's when you start really realizing and start thinking.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes. Hmm.
Well said. Well said.
And
Talking about.
I want
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead. Go
wanted
ahead.
to go back to what Cedric was speaking about when he's talking about his music, bro. And I think it's important, the difference between rap and hip hop, right? Uh, I'm a '70s baby,
Okay,
and when I
okay.
listen to music, I'm Bo, Pac, Rated, uh, Scarface. Like I'm way back. It's like it was a message, and I
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
and as we grow and we elevate, I tell Bo and I tell Rated all the time. I tell my homies and I tell T Nelly, right? I say, bro, y'all are prophets, bro. You're talking
Yep.
to God's flock, bro. You got to be careful with your message, bro. You're directing and guiding people whether you want to or not, bro. And I honor you for taking that step up, because you're a part of the change and stopping the gun violence when you educate through your music, bro. And I think it's lost that you're just saying things over music and rhyming over music, instead of you're saying things that's going to affect people's lives.
Hmm.
So in essence, I consider y'all prophets, man.
Blessings, blessings. Like I
Not
tell
every
people,
week.
I don't mean to cut y'all off. Sorry about
Nah,
that.
you're good, bro. It's your show, bro. You're
Your
good. Go
show.
ahead.
Like I tell people, like the put the guns down. I love that movement. I'm not even gonna say I like it. I'm gonna say I love that movement because this new generation, they really going off of what they see and what they hearing in the music, and that's what a lot of people have to realize. See, when we talk about like you know get it back in blood on a song or whatever the case may be, people got to realize this new generation, they gonna go off that exactly. And then at the end of the day, that's why I hit the world with Boss Up, with the Boss Up song. That's why I hit the world with the Move Smart song. And that's why I hit the world with the Jupiter song. Because at the end of the day, I wanna show the new generation, the ones that's younger than us, that's looking up to us, that's listening to our music. I wanna show them how to boss up and what being a boss really mean. I wanna show them how to move smart. That's why I created and I did my song how I did it, the Move Smart song. And then to go to the Jupiter song, like I tell people every time I speak on a Jupiter song, like I tell them, I took the world out of space.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, people have to realize the reason I did that song how I did it is because, I wanted to go out of space and talk to our ancestors. People got to realize those are our ancestors because they have to realize, what was here before humans and before us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I did that song like that. It's a red flag warning in the world now. We about to go out of space till it come down. I got my nigga Alien on speed dial. He about to pull up in that UFO touchdown. You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I took the world out of space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I
Wow.
did another song with my sister, The Right Way. Lady Too Much, that's my sister. I did a song with her called The Right Way. And it was a reason we did that song how we did it. In my verse, I rapped about, Zeus Network and, the things I see on Zeus Network and stuff like that. Like I said, I don't want to rap about picking up a gun or trying to get something back in blood, and I'm not gonna get nothing out of that if I'm rapping like that. I'm not getting nothing out of that. All I'm doing is just directing the new generation to how to get something back in blood or whatever the case may be. All right, I'm finna go what he said in the song. All right, I'm finna go do that. Now I gotta go do
Speak.
that what he said in the song. I don't want
Speak.
I don't want the, I don't want him to do that. It's like I said, it's all about here. It's all about the
Yes.
mind. And we want to guide the new generation in a better direction. Because we out here doing everything to ourselves. We knocking each other off. We knocking our own people down, man. If we really look at it, we not
Mm-hmm.
getting nothing out of it.
Right.
It's just that
Mm.
cycle. It's that vicious cycle. And
Yeah.
somebody has to stop, and a group of somebodies has to stop that generational curse. Because that's exactly what it is. And yes, it's perpetrated by a broken system. But I think once, talking about mindsets today and talking about choices, once we realize the game that we're really playing, or I should say the game that they are playing, let's create our own rules. And what I mean by that is exactly what you're saying, Cedric. It's not about going out and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that." Because one quick thing there is when people hear that shit in the song, like you're talking about, whether it's from you or anybody else, there are individuals that look up to you. Let's use the term "stan." Okay, everybody has their own stands. Everybody has their own stands, and some of them don't understand that people are going to take that literal,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's true or not. What you are spitting about in a track, some people are going to take that literal, and some people might hear somebody like you say it, and in this case, it's positivity that you're talking about, and transcending those things from the past that we've been told is this is just the way it is. But you're now telling people, go and do this because this is what bossing up looks like. This is how we are going to ascend as human beings, as a community, as a people, as a family. Whereas on the flip coin, if you hear in this drill music or trap music or whatever the case might be, some people are going to take that literal as well. Be like, nah, it's okay that I go and do it because this motherfucker said it's okay that I go and do it. No, no. You have an opportunity in talking about choices like we were earlier, Dooney. You have a choice. And if you know that you have that voice and people are looking up to you, why would you use it for something negative when you can use it for something positive? Like, man, I don't know. It's wild out here, but we do have the control. And people like Cedric 17Hunnid are out here taking the control back, taking the power back, Dooney, like you were talking about earlier, because that's a choice. You have a choice to continue to, yeah, man, because you have a choice to follow the trend, like we're talking earlier, or you can create. There you go. There you go. And Cedric is not following the trends. He is setting the trends of the new world order. And that's what
when
it
I
has
think
to
of
be.
hip hop, bro, when I think of hip hop, I think of everything Cedric said, bro. And when I listen to music, it has to be something I can sit down with my grandson or any other young man and listen to and say, hey, listen to this, bro. I shouldn't have to cut my music off in my car, bro, because I don't want my grandson hearing about popping pills and shooting people and being an addict and bitch, bro. I don't want, that's not how I want to raise these youth, bro. So when you're responsible with your message the way that you are, you gain fans, bro. Stay doing what you're doing, bro. Stay on that hip hop track and keep it hip hop, man. Tell your story and elevate our people. You know what I mean? Prophet said.
And that's exactly what it is. And said, I definitely got another question for you, but I want to clear some things up for some people out here real quick. Because I literally have, and this was put together by a whole group of people. This was presented by KRS-One to the United Nations back in 2021, and it now sits in the Hip Hop Museum in Washington, D.C. So what is hip hop, people? Let me tell you, there's principles to this. I'm going to read a couple principles at a time throughout this conversation because I think it's really relevant to what we're talking on today. So what does it stand for? Peace, unity, respect for life. It recognizes hip hop as a collective consciousness of peace and responsibility. It demands respect for the dignity and sanctity of life without discrimination. And it encourages love and respect for children, elders, and nature, which is exactly what we're talking about here today. And with that said, my next thing that I just want to kind of bring up, since we're on this topic, let's go back to the beginning for you, Cedric. What was it? What was that moment where you're like, yo, I'm going to pick up the pen or the pencil or just start writing it in my mind? What was the catalyst for you to say, yo, I'm going to go and do this? I'm going to go and be a hip hop artist.
To be real, I think it was like, let me see. I'm gonna say it was a few years ago because my older brother, which is his name is Booster, shout out to him. He was incarcerated and I was writing him so much to where I wrote him so much, I looked at it as like, dang, I'm sitting here writing all these letters and I'm sitting here, writing this message. I could write music. And then at the time, the crazy part about it at the time, I was a big fan of the rapper The Game.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, The Game, he was, that's when he was killing the bars. He was dropping the bars like 200 bars, 240 bars, 300 bars, 360 bars with no hook.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at that, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, I'm sitting there listening. I'm like, damn, I wonder how the hell he do this shit like this. Like, just from, when the beat come on till the beat go off, and the beat be like probably like 5 minutes, or what I'm saying, 8 minutes, or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, damn, I'm sitting there thinking like, how the hell you do this shit like this? Like, it's no hook. It's just all bars from when the beat come on till it go off. I sit there and think like, damn, I think I could do that. I write my brother so many letters. I think I can do that. So one day I picked up the pen and I did that. I didn't even know how to do a hook. And after that, I named my first mixtape No Hook. So I think I had like probably 10 songs on that first mixtape. And every song had no hook to it. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. Okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing right here. Like for real, I'm supposed to be doing this. And then ever since then, like, it's just been history with me. Like I say, when I first started, I didn't even know how to do a hook. No lie. All I knew how to do was just put the beat on and ride it. That's it.
Mm.
And then after that, I say, after a few years done went by, I mastered the hook. And now, I knocked the hook out the park. Straight baseball. 100. So, yeah, that's how it all started with me. To be real, I ain't even gonna lie, I wasn't even thinking about rapping or nothing. No lie. I wasn't thinking about rapping, or like I say, we was out here being hard heads, running wild and things like that. And I wasn't even thinking about rapping, man. For real. Had my first son, and no lie, my first son changed my life. I ain't gonna lie to you. Took me
Yes,
away from the
sir.
streets and all that.
What I took out of that, and I'm curious to see what you took out of what Cedric just said here in a quick second, Dooney. But what I took out of that was, which we all know on this show, everything, and Monster always puts it best, right? Everything that's laid out for you in life is already in front of you. You just got to walk your path there to get it, right? So what that means to me, and what you just described with your experience and where it began for you, is that was in you the whole entire time. You just needed the catalyst of writing your brother to let
Exactly.
it be that catalyst, and it was a wrap from there. And I'm going to come back to that in a second. But Dooney, what did you take out of what Cedric just said there, as far as where this began for him?
Man, everybody has a significant emotional event that changes their life, whatever that happens to be. And that happens to be something that was very important. And I want to touch on that, bro, and honor you, bro, for being that person there for your brother, bro. Them letters mean everything.
Yes. Blessings,
And
blessings.
brothers don't write their brothers, and homies don't write their homies, bro. You different. I just want to put that out there, bro. You said it so like nonchalantly, like everybody's writing their brothers, bro. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. That's being a brother, bro. I want to honor you for that. Being in them stoops, I get it. You know, that's powerful. And when you do write them letters, you find out what's in you.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
find out
sir.
what's in you, bro, right? And all you have to do is change your audience. You changed
Yep.
your audience, bro.
Sir. Yes, sir. For
So,
real.
I want to talk about the level up process with you here in a second, but part 2 of 3 of what hip hop really stands for anybody that is not really familiar with what that means. The second part of that is integrity, responsibility, and lawfulness. What that means is principle number 3: respect the laws and agreements of your community and country while upholding hip hop's cultural values. Principle number 6: act with honesty and fairness in negotiations and relationships. And principle number 6 continued: reject activities that destroy hip hop's peaceful existence and integrity. Some big words for some people out there, and we're going to
Yes.
talk about that. But with that said, let's talk about the level up for you, Cedric, from what you just discussed a few moments ago, and this journey that you've been on for a number of years. From specifically where you started writing just straight bars with no hooks, now becoming a master of the hook, to where you're at in your journey now. how what does that look like for you? How has that unfolded, the elevation process with respect to your writing and being a hip hop artist who happens to rap?
Um, it made me better. No lie, it made me better because the reason I say it made me better is that, like I say, the hook, I knocked that out the park. So by me mastering my craft, I look at it as like, it make me understand, writing more and putting my lyrics and my metaphors together better. No lie.
Mm.
And that's elevation in and of itself. And I don't think it could really be spoken any better. And then I can appreciate that because I've been experiencing that myself in the years that I've been doing this, specifically the last year. And that doesn't just happen. That doesn't just happen, right? You don't just wake up one day and you're better. You got to put that work in, right? So, what type of things do you try to do to, let's even call it challenge yourself, or in the attempts to elevate your craft? Are there any specific things that you attempt to do, or is it just putting the work in, along the path that has kind of helped you elevate?
I mean, me challenging myself, you know, when I write music every day, that's me challenging myself. Like I tell people, every new song that I work on is different. So that's that right there. That's me trying every new song. That's me challenging myself right there. The work ethic, for real. So it's all about just putting the work in, man. Like I tell people, every day is a challenge. Life is a challenge. So by me writing a new song, or working on a new hook, or trying to find a beat, or doing a feature for someone, that's my challenge right there. That's me challenging myself right there to keep going, keep getting better, to keep trying to prosper in life. That's me challenging myself. Stay mind strong. That's me challenging myself.
It's absolutely
The
right.
guy,
Not using auto, not using auto tune.
that part, not using auto tune. That's me challenging myself. Cause like I tell people, I was a, I was a no lie. I was a big fan of Tupac. Tupac. Like I tell people, I'm my own idol. But at the end of the day, Tupac is my rap idol
Mm.
because Tupac. One thing he showed me and he taught me what to do is just go in the studio and body it.
Mm.
Don't worry about the breath till after. Just go in the studio and body it.
Mhm.
Don't worry about the hook till after. Just go in the studio and body that verse.
Mhm.
That's what Tupac taught me, like no lie, because he was a master at his craft. He was a master at working. He was a master at challenging himself in all different ways.
Yeah,
And that's what
it's a
I
trip.
took. I took notes from that. I took notes. Like I say, Tupac was my number one favorite, favorite artist. And I took notes from that. He gave us messages.
Yes, sir.
He
Yes,
didn't
sir.
just, he didn't just give us the, like I was just saying, for instance, we finna talk about, you know what I'm saying, how to kill the next person or whatever, or get it back in blood or whatever the case may be. No, Tupac gave us messages. Tupac gave us stories. Tupac gave us life.
Mhm. Tupac was a
And
threat.
said again, a big threat. For real. A big threat. And that's what they didn't like. That's what they didn't like. They didn't like that. He was a big threat for real.
Take
And you
courage
know,
to speak positivity, bro.
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Because
yes. You
everybody
know,
that's out there
Tupac,
that's running the industry don't want that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know, Tupac, he he showed me how to really just be me. And you know, just be an open book. Don't hold nothing back, don't hold nothing in. Tell it how it is. And if they don't like it, oh well.
Nah, that's crazy.
It's
So
it's
that's why,
so
you know, I take my hats off to Pac, and you know, long live his soul. That was my, you know,
man,
that was my number one favorite artist right there.
indeed, because he did things with intent. And think about it this way too. Like I mean, Tupac may rest in power. His legend will always live on. You know, Dooney talking about prophets out here. He was a prophet. There's no question about it. And here's why I can say that, other than just what I know and how I know it and experience that I've lived more recently. I mean, Pac's physical has been gone for almost 30 years now. All right. Think
Hmm.
about this, people. I see youngins and that I encounter from time to time, and we get to talking about conversations about hip hop or music, or who do you like, who do you listen to. And about 6 weeks ago or so, I was talking to this young king, and he was 18, 17, 18 years old. And he's like, yo, he's like, pop, pop. And he was talking, the things that he knew and the intent of how he spoke about Pac was as if this 18-year-old kid lived at the same time frame that I did when Pac was here in the physical. Think about that. That's power. And
Yeah.
but with that power comes the intent that Pac had in his messages. Think about keep your head up. Think about Brenda, had a baby. Like, that's power. That's power. And to Dooney, what you said earlier, he's a threat. He's a threat. Even today, even not here in the physical, he is still a threat because his message was filled with intent. His message was filled with power, and his message was filled with real life. And that
Mm.
scares people. That
Hmm.
scares the system, because
Cause
also people are afraid of things that they don't know. But how do you not know something if you also don't take the choice and opportunity to sit down and get to learn about something, or in this case somebody who may look different than you, or dress differently than you, or act in a different manner than you do? Doesn't mean that they're anything than just somebody who has lived different experiences than you in your life. And that's what I appreciate, Cedric, about not only what you're talking about today, but the way you put these messages that you're talking about today into your music as well, because there's intent behind the messages that you're putting out there for everybody of any background, socioeconomic, class wise, religion wise, or otherwise. Like, if it's somebody that's tapped in with wanting to learn in general, they can listen to your music and they will get the messages of intent, of healing, of empowerment, of growth and elevation that you are putting out in your music. And that's exactly why when Dooney says people such as yourself, or Sibo, or X Rated, or Pac, whatever the case might be, that's what a prophet is. That's exactly what a prophet is. And that's powerful, because not a lot of people have that. And not a lot of people have the integrity or strength to take up that mantle. So I salute you from my end as well, because it's not easy. It's not easy to do, but prophets were not put here to do the easy things in life, because otherwise they would be 85% of this world that are followers.
say that again. That's
Yes,
facts. That's for
sir.
real.
Yes, sir. Hmm.
Dooney, anything that you want to add to that?
Man, um, I just want to thank the brother, man, for putting out that positive message, man. Like I said, in the work that I do, I need your support. And your music is my support because I can just tell one of them youngsters, bro, go listen to this, bro.
Yes, yes.
You know what I'm saying? I can like, look, bro, just listen to this, bro. Hit me after you
And
listen
that's
to
what I
this,
want.
bro.
That's what I
Yeah,
want.
yeah. That's what
Because
it
my
is,
son,
man.
I don't mean to cut you off, Dooney, but I just want to say
Mm,
before I forget, my son, he be 6 this month, August 26th. He be 6 years old. It's
mm,
my second son. And my son, he walk around the house, he rap my music all day. And like I said, that's what I want. He rap my music all day. Walk around the house, rap my music all day. I went to my mom's house 2 days ago. I got my nephews and everybody over there. And I get in there, I'm chopping it up with moms or whatever. And then I just decide to, put my song Jupiter on. And as soon as I put that song on, my nephew walk in. He the same age as my second son. He going on 6 too. My nephew walk in. He like, oh, that's Uncle Sad right there. He like, I like this song, and like I said, it's the
mm,
Jupiter song. He like, yeah, I like this
mm.
song, Uncle. I like this song. It's one of my favorite songs right here. And that just made me feel so good, and just had me thinking like, okay, I'm doing something right. I'm doing something right.
Yes, sir.
And what I'm doing, I have to keep doing it
Yes, sir.
because, like I say, I wanna make music, that the kids can listen to.
Yes,
Like
sir.
Dooney say, he don't want to be, getting in a car or whatever the case may be, and he got his grandkids, and he got to cut this off because they talking about ass, titties, and shooting, and you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Like
sir.
that's for real. You want to get in the car and put something on with your grandkids, kids, all that, and vibe to it, and really,
Yes, sir.
can listen to it.
Y'all can sing together.
Yes, yes, yes. That's facts for real. And that
It's
make
so true.
that right there alone just make me feel good, and just let me know I'm doing something good, man, for real. And I got to keep
Heart
going.
food. I call it heart food.
Yes,
Good
exactly.
for the
Yes,
heart, man.
Mm-hmm.
yes, for real.
And you know what?
That's
On
hip
that,
hop.
well, speaking of, Dooney, speaking of, what hip hop stands for? 3 of 3. All right, a perfect segue. And again, this is all unscripted, people. There's not one question that we came with. We're just here to have an open conversation. So, Cedric, I want to thank you for being willing to come out and have an open conversation so we could get to learn more about you and your messages, and letting myself and our brother Dooney here just to have that conversation with you and share it with the people outside with us. So, with
Yes,
that
sir.
said, hip hop, what it stands for: 3 of 3: self definition, education, and empowerment, which are all things that we've been talking about already in this conversation. Specifically, principle number 5 of hip hop: hip hop empowers people to define, defend, and educate themselves, promoting peace and prosperity. We've been talking about that. Principle number 4 encourages the study of hip hop history, culture, and its spiritual, philosophical principles. And principle number 16 honors and protects the knowledge of pioneers, elders, and ancestors. So I'm gonna ask both of you, Cedric. I'm gonna, since it's your show, I'm gonna ask you first. When I speak of that as it's been laid out in the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace, self-definition, education, empowerment, and all those things that I said there. When you hear that, what does that mean to you? What do you take out of that, with respect to hip hop as a whole, and what it means to your craft as a hip hop artist?
I mean, it mean a lot to my craft. Self empowerment, like it means a lot. And what I take out of it is that as far as us as human beings, like I tell people, we have to understand ourselves first before anything. And long as you understand yourself first before anything, then you could give the power behind it.
Mm. We
And
talked
that's
about
real
that
life
earlier
fact.
too.
Yes. Long as you understand yourself before anything in life, long as you understand yourself first, because like I tell people, you always have to understand yourself first. Long as you understand yourself first, then the power come
All is
behind it.
possible. All is
Yes,
possible.
yes. Everything is possible for real.
Yeah,
And
no
like I
doubt.
tell people, life is not, life is not hard. Life is what you really make it. To be real, life is what you make it, man. It's not hard. It's what you make it. A lot of people think it's hard or whatever the case may be. They see everything that's going on or whatever. But like I tell people, long as you understand yourself and you understand life, it's not hard at all. Because like I tell some people, this is not a country. This is an empire. It's not a country. This is an empire. We have to realize everything that's going on right now. Everything that's going on. This is not a country we living in. This is an empire.
Mm.
America is for sale.
Hmm. And it's
Yes,
happening
sir.
right before our eyes, and it always
Yes,
has.
Mhm.
That's the thing too. It always has, but
yes,
it's even more for sale than it's ever been before today.
yes, for real.
Mm.
And that's true. And what's going on in life. I hate it. I hate it with the Donald Trump shit, and he trying to deport people back. And like I tell people, I don't even know how you trying to deport people back when California is Mexico.
Mm.
People have to realize this. California is Mexico.
Mm.
They pushed the border to where it's at right now.
Hmm.
Mhm.
United States bought California back back in. I think if I'm not mistaken, it probably was. See, I don't even want to give no year because I don't even want to give, what I'm saying, the wrong year. But y'all
Mhm.
get what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
United
Mhm.
States bought California. The whole California was Mexico. People got to realize that and understand it. And it's real life facts what I'm talking about.
We say who next? Who's next?
Man, say it again,
It's crazy. It's
for
crazy, but
real.
it's true because even when he
We
first
always
came
at
in,
the end of something. We
it,
always subject to it.
Yes, yes,
Just because so many other people that came to this country from other countries, we're still not getting the break, right?
yep,
It's just where he started. And if you have the heart to deport any people, that means you'll deport any people.
hmm,
and the good old saying is a snake is always a snake, right? And I got, well, since we're on the subject and things being for sale and people trying to control the narrative, I'd like to share a story that I know of Orange Man.
yeah,
So I,
yeah,
I used to work. I used to work in senior living. When I was living in Colorado, I live in Kansas City now. But when I was living in Colorado, I worked in a senior living community in Boulder, Colorado, and I met a dude by the name of Bob. Bob, like me, is originally from the tri-state area. I grew up in Bridgeport, Connecticut, which is about 35 miles or so as the crow flies from New York City. Bob was a cabinet maker in the Bronx. Bob worked on one of the Co-op City buildings in the Bronx. If y'all are not familiar, out there watching Co-op City, big, like, oh man, I can't even tell you how many floors of this building. Probably 100 apartments to each floor of it, right? You're probably looking at about 1,000 or so. Bob did one of these whole co-op cities, installed cabinets, all of them. Never got paid for it. But even something crazier than that, when Trump was building the Trump Towers back in, it might have been the late 80s or so, um, Trump brought a couple hundred Polish immigrants over for cheap labor. Okay. So these immigrants end up completing the Trump Towers. Their job is done. Their contract, as it was laid out, was was done. It's time for these individuals, these couple hundred Polish immigrants, to get paid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trump or a representative of Trump, however, went down. I wasn't there. I just know the story as Bob shared it with me on this day in Boulder, Colorado. And he said he rounded everybody up under the premise and guise that he was going to pay them for the job completed. It's not what he did. He rounded all of these people up and then he called whoever was in charge at the time of deportations, because instead of these people getting paid for the work that they completed, they all got rounded up, as we're seeing people getting rounded up today, and they all got shipped back to Poland. So listen, man, a snake is a snake. A snake sheds its skin and just becomes a different snake along the way, but a snake is still going to bite you. So like, people, it's time to, and I don't even want to necessarily call it wake up or be woke necessarily. You just got to pay the fuck attention to what's going on around you, because all this stuff is going on right in front of your eyes. And it's crazy. Think about it from this perspective too. All these MAGA people that are now like jumping ship. Like, if that doesn't tell you something, people, number one, it's a cult. Let's call that what it is. But number two, if people who have been supporting this or any other person, such as this individual that we're just kind of speaking on at this point, what does that tell you? That there's something wrong. And simply, you have to pay attention to what's going on around you, whether it's in your community, your state, or the empire that we live in. That, Cedric, I don't think it could be put any other way, bro, because it's a business. America is a business. It's not
Yes,
a
sir.
country. It's not. Everything's for sale.
Yep.
War is a business, sadly.
Yep. Everything is for sale. Like Tupac once said, you got money for wars, but can't feed the
Feed
poor.
the poor.
Hmm. Hmm.
Think about that.
Man,
Everything he
that's
said,
something to
bro.
really think about and really let soak in.
Hmm.
That's facts.
I'm out. I'm out. That's part of what I do. I go out and feed the unhoused, right? I don't say homeless because America's our home, right? This whole country, this whole land, the earth is our home, bro. So, uh, yeah, man, it's wow. It
Yeah.
just blows my mind to know the billions of dollars they send out for war and getting other people's business, but it's people right here on our street, bro, don't have nothing to eat, bro. And there's countries with no homeless people, with no unhoused people at all, bro.
Hmm.
And we want to act like we the advanced society. No, we the advanced business society,
Yep.
right? And it's this
Yep.
businesses that's creating our laws in California, I know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Businesses is creating these laws to lock people up for taking their stuff, for stealing and robbing them, right? They're hungry. And who else they gonna take? So they're the ones that's creating these laws, bro, these businesses to give our people life sentences, strike our people out.
Hmm. And think about it from this perspective too. And I definitely want both of your thoughts on what I'm going to present. And we're going to start respectfully winding down, here shortly. But think about it from this perspective. As we talk about mental health awareness and how that correlates to our Saturday put the guns down conversation, right? Mental health awareness, and Cedric reiterated what Pac said, from back in the day. Got money for war, but no, but not to feed the poor. Think about it from this perspective. If anybody's out here thinking, well, why don't we address mental health in a different way that we haven't done before? Well, here's why. To the point that we've been talking about here in this last part of the conversation, where America is a business. Okay, here's what's going on right now. America, and people who are running America, um, they're making money off of these wars. That's exactly what's going on. That's why we're in these wars, because there's money to be made. People are getting an ROI, return on investment. People, if you're not familiar with that acronym, anytime you invest in something, you want an ROI. You want to make sure that you have a healthy ROI. Otherwise, it's not worth investing in as an investor. So think about it from this perspective real quick. And I definitely want both of your thoughts. And then we'll start to wind it down here. And Cedric, as always, it's your show. So we're going to make sure that you get the final thoughts before we do sign off. And here's my answer and my thought and my hypothesis as to why we are not addressing mental health awareness, as it's already been talked about on this conversation with Cedric, and even what Dooney and I were talking about before Cedric popped on with us. Because it's going to take a lot of money to address the mental health awareness. It's going to take and to better mental health resources for people. You know, you said it yesterday, Dooney. Why don't we take all the liquor stores out of our communities and replace it with mental health centers? And I'm going to give you the answer as to why it's not happening. Because there is not going to be a return on investment to the pocketbook. There's no ROI there. Sorry, let me say it this way. There is a return on investment. There's a return on investment of minds being strengthened, of people getting the help and resources that they need. But sadly, there's not going to be an ROI in dollars for the people and the resources that would go into that. So why would people that have the ability to do this, the people running the country, the people writing these laws that can literally make this happen tomorrow via an executive order, the reason that's not happening, people, is because there are no dollars coming out of that. There's only mental awareness and mental strength coming out of that. And that's exactly what the system does not want. Facts or no facts, Dooney? Or as the youngins say these days, caps or no cap?
It's the same thing with hospitals, bro. They're not into herbalist or anything that's going to heal you. They're into making money, bro. And the only way they can make money is to take care of you when you're sick until you die, not to keep you alive. If they give you the remedies, natural herbal remedies to keep you alive, then they make no money. All their systems and institutions are the same. Prisons, hospitals, senior citizen living facilities. All these places have deplorable conditions, but they make the most money. Who cares about the elders? Who cares about people in prison? Who cares about people that's going in the hospital? How many visits do those people get? That's that lost and hidden society that they found out they can fuck over, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's all about money, bro. And only we can change that. The people. That's it. When we make prison no longer profitable, they'll stop locking us up. When we can make hospitals no longer profitable, they'll stop killing us and allowing us to die, right? It's all on us. Sadly, I could say sadly because nothing's happening, but I am excited about what I see for the future. Because a lot of us been living from eyesight. So we see this and, you know, that's just what we see. But we got to start living from mindsight. Let's see what's beyond that. Right? Mindsight is eyesight is how you see what you see, and mindsight is how you see what you see. It's a difference, bro. And I believe our people are waking up, bro. God is waking his people up, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I know.
I agree.
Starting from his prophets and his disciples, like said, and all the other prophets that he's creating, and he's tapping into their mind, into their heart to change the trajectory of where our community is going, bro. That's how it got that way.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just my take on it, man.
No, I appreciate that. Cedric, what do you want to go ahead and add to what we were just talking about there?
No, that's true because I like what Dooney said because spoke on the hospitals and like you said it's all about money and that's very true. I just want to say long live Dr. Sebi.
Yes, sir.
That's what I want
Yes.
to say. Long live Dr. Sebi because that guy right there.
Speak on it, bro. Speak on it.
Let's wait for me to put this.
And I'm glad you brought him up because I was going to bring him up. I'm glad you brought him up.
Yeah. That guy right there, it's a reason they had to, get Dr. Sebi out the way because, like Dooney just said, hospitals, money, money rules everything. So for him to come up with a cure that for him to come up with a cure to to cure everything that we basically is going through with right now in life, sickness, you know, STDs, AIDS, whatever the case may be. For him to come up, cancer, all that, for him to come up with a cure that 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 cures everything, it wouldn't have been no monies in the hospitals at all. It would have been no money in the hospitals at all.
Cutting into the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
For real. And I just, like I say, long live his soul. I take my hat off and everything. It's reasons they had to get rid of Dr. Sebi because he would have took all the money away from the hospitals. There wouldn't have been no hospitals. Hospitals for what? When Dr. Sebi, he got a cure to cure everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like I tell people, still to this day, it's you know what I'm saying, it's stuff out here to cure. You know what I'm saying, HIV. You know what I'm saying, whatever STD you got, cancer, we could cure all that stuff. To be
Yep.
real.
Absolutely.
Natural remedy.
Exactly.
We didn't
Exactly.
always have hospitals.
Come on, man. Nope.
We
Nope. Not
didn't
at
always
all.
have hospitals, bro, and we were okay, right?
Yes. Yes. And it's like now, the world we living in, it's like, they feeding us everything to get us sick. They feeding us stuff to kill us. They feeding us stuff that's man made. That's not nature made.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Like I tell people, it's a different from nature made and man made.
Hmm.
Nature made not gonna kill us. Man made is gonna kill us.
Hmm.
And that's what I tell a lot of people. We have to really wake up and realize what's going on in front of our eyes. If people
Life.
look at it now, food is different that we eat from back then. And when how can I say it, our ancestors, which is our grandparents, and our grandfathers, and people like that, from what they used to grow in the backyard. And like I tell people, back then, back in the
Hmm.
early 90s or whatever, I never seen my grandmother go to a grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Why? It's because what she told her grandson, which is me, and all her other grandbabies, can y'all go out there in that backyard and pick me some collard greens, give me some tomatoes, and things like that's nature made. When it's nature made, it's not going to kill you.
Hmm.
But when it's man made, it's going to take you out. And that's what they want.
That's
It's
exactly.
so
That's
funny
what the
that you
system is
bring that
designed
up.
to do.
It's funny that
Yes,
they
yes,
bring it up.
Lord.
That's why I have a garden, bro. I'm trying to
I
put a
seen
garden at
that too.
everybody's house that I know.
As I was talking, I
Everybody's
seen
house
that
I
you
know,
doing the
bro.
garden. Yes,
Yes, sir. That's where we come from, bro.
yes,
That's our
yes,
that's our that's our fountain of youth.
yes,
That's our
Lord,
key
yes, Lord,
to a healthy life, bro. Right?
yes,
And
yeah,
that's what
Very
it's
much
about.
is. Very much is. This has been an absolutely phenomenal conversation, as it always is when we're outside. Cedric, we're going to make sure that you get the final words here. Before we break for the day and close the door on the outsiders joining us today. Again, just as a reminder, if y'all have been joining us here live, if you just popped in, if you haven't been with us in the beginning, just a few minutes or so, maybe a little bit after this conversation is done, this is going to be permanently living on the We Outside Live podcast channel on YouTube. This was a hell of a dope conversation, as they always are. And this one was no different in any way, shape, or form. So go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell on the YouTube as well. That way you don't miss the conversations when they are live. But again, the beautiful thing is we understand that people have things that they got to do. We just want to make sure that you are aware that even if you did not catch it live, it will be living on the YouTube channel, as all of our conversations over the last 18 months that we've been doing this for live on the YouTube channel. So with that said, Cedric, I want to appreciate the time and opportunity to have this conversation with you. And we definitely chopped it up, on the DMs here and there in the past, but to be able to have this conversation with you, bro, it's a privilege, it's a blessing, and it's an honor, my brother. So thank you for sharing your insights, your musical journey, your background to you as a human being, as a father, and everything that you are, which is a good human being in this world, bro. So I salute you. You are officially now a member of the We Outside family. The door is always open to you. You got anything that you ever want to share? You want to come out and pop out and say something, bro? You just said the word. The door is unlocked to you, bro. Always, always. So with that said, Dooney, any final thoughts that you want to share with the outsiders today? And then we're going to let Cedric close it out with whatever he wants to say, which please make sure that you include and remind people where they can find you, where they can find your music, anything that you're working on that you want to share with them right now. It's your show, bro. You close it out and take as long as you need to close out the show. With that said, Dooney, my brother, any final thoughts for the people outside today?
I would just say, man, each one keeps touching someone, man. Strive to get to know yourself, right? To understand what makes you tick, right? And once you understand that, you'll see that your life will change and things will change for you, right? Your choices become different. And to Cedric, bro, keep keeping it hip hop,
Yes,
It's the
sir.
reason why G's got to stay in this rap game and can't get out, bro.
Yes, sir.
Only y'all keeping it hip hop, bro. Y'all gonna teach the young ones how to keep it hip hop, bro. And if they don't, like we say, my grandson, your sons, they gonna remember what hip hop is. It's gonna be in them, bro. Keep being a prophet, a disciple, bro. Disseminating that message, bro. I just say today you gained another fan, bro. Right?
Appreciate it, my
Uh,
brother. Appreciate it.
I love the people behind the music and the message in the heart of the people. That's what I dance to. So
Yes,
thank you,
Lord.
bro.
Yes,
It
Lord.
was an honor getting to meet you, King. Uh,
Bless.
and to the people, man, live love, live in love, man. Live in love. It's gotta say, man, keep God or whoever you have as your higher power first, bro. Find something that makes you better, whatever that looks like. Thank you again,
No,
Cedric,
thank you, bro.
coming and making an awesome show, bro. Yes, sir.
All right, Cedric, it's your show. It's been your show. You go ahead and close out the show however you want with whatever you want to say, bro.
Yes, sir. I mean, first and foremost, I just want to, say thank you to you, Mikey P.
Appreciate you, bro. It's
Yes,
love,
sir,
all
for having
respect.
me on the show. We outside. Dooney, want to thank you, my brother, for taking your time out and, just, being here with us.
Yes, sir.
And at the end of the day, I want to say free Monster Yo. You feel me? I'm tripping right now. I'm stepping on shit respectfully. Skrilla Gorillas West for motherfucking life. They know what it is, and I'm gonna continue this journey. I'm gonna continue holding this shit down for my uncle. You feel me? Until he come home, and when he come home, I'm gonna, what I'm saying, I'm gonna even put on even harder. You feel me? So, like I said, free Monster Yo. Till I can't scream it, till I can't spell it no more. Skrilla Gorillas West for motherfucking life. We stepping on shit respectfully. And I just want to give shouts out to my brothers, you feel me? So I want to give shout out to my big brother Lil Booster, you feel? I want to give shouts out to my other brother, Low Always. That's my brother right there. He
Yes,
always,
sir. He's tapped
holding
in
it
with us.
down
He's
with me.
tapped in with us this morning.
Yeah, that's my brother right there,
Yeah.
man. Low always. And I
Yeah,
wanna
salute
give
him.
shouts out to, King PR, my little sister, Lady Too Much, my boy Gifted, King Gifted. I want to give shouts out to everybody, man. I want to give shouts out to all my people. I want to give shouts out to the whole team. And like I always say, man, you just love yourself. You feel me? Love yourself. Love yourself, everything else gonna, be A-okay. For real, for real. And like I say, once again, free my Uncle Musty. Yo, I'm gonna keep screaming that shit today. They're gonna get tired of
Go
that.
for it.
Free
Go
my
for it.
Uncle Musty, yo, Skrilla Gorillas West for motherfucking life. I'm so motherfucking happy right now, man. For real. I miss my uncle and can't wait till he come home, man. For real. 1700 way or no way, or they better get the fuck out the way.
Yes, sir.
Man, big facts. I'm gonna end it on these three things. Number one, you are a beautiful fucking spirit, my brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Number two, Lady Too Much is gonna be our guest this coming Wednesday. She's opening that door. She'll be outside with us. And lastly, and most importantly, when our family Monster Yo comes home, in the words of Dave Chappelle, it's a celebration, bitches.
I'm
You know
telling
what
you,
it
we
is.
tripping.
You know what it is. My brother, I appreciate you, Cedric. We are locked in for always and ever now at this point, bro. We are going to meet in person at some point. My brother,
Yes, sir.
Dooney, I appreciate you popping out and taking up this co-hosting chair again with me. Man, if this has not been a beautiful weekend for your first official
Man,
duties as a co-host, I don't know what a beautiful weekend then looks like, bro. So thank
I
you. I
love my
appreciate
people,
you, man.
man.
That's what
I
it
love my
is.
people, man.
That's what it is. Outsiders, thank y'all for joining us. You know what it
We
is. Facebook,
outside.
Instagram,
Yes,
YouTube. Go
sir.
subscribe, hit the bell, follow. And as always, tell the others because you know where we are. We outside.